Also tonight, fires, floods and drought. Is this climate change unleashed?
Hello, I'm Connor Duffy in California, where firefighters are battling the worst blazes in recorded history. But it's at least something they're used to, and that's not the same in other parts of the world. Tonight, we'll bring you perspectives from both sides of the Atlantic.
That's right, Connor. I'm Lisa Miller in Kabole in northern Sweden, where even the most experienced firefighters described what happened here as hell being unleashed. In our special report tonight, we look at the cost of the long, hot summer.
Now to tonight's special report. And this week we've seen winter fires in Australia, floods in India and record-breaking heat waves across Europe. 2018 is on trend to be one of the hottest years on record. The only years hotter, 2015, 2016 and 2017. Japan sweltered through its hottest ever day in July when the mercury soared to 41 degrees. In Montreal, it hit 37. That's the highest since records began 147 years ago. Glasgow had its hottest day ever in June, along with cities in Georgia and Armenia. And the highest temperature ever recorded on the African continent, a sweltering 51 degrees in Algeria. That sort of heat brought with it fires and drought to places that are normally unaccustomed to such things. Tonight, we'll take you to Sweden with correspondent Lisa Miller, where fires burnt in the Arctic Circle, and to California, where they've just experienced the worst fire season on record.
California burning like never before. It's the biggest blaze in history. 4,000 firefighters backed by a fleet of helicopters have been working for 3 weeks straight, and it's still a raging inferno.
Well, we're seeing fires that are bigger than we've ever seen before. We've seen fires that the fire behavior is unlike anything we've ever seen before.
Look at that, just smoked them right there.
A changing climate means a new reality, and these teams are flying year-round. Others are doing dangerous work on the ground as they battle to contain blazes that now come even in winter. On the front line, they're paying with their lives.
One of the things that's challenging is we've had more firefighter fatalities in the last couple of years than I remember in my career.
Local communities are suffering too. Many of the homes in this small town are gone. When the flames came through here, they were so hot, they literally melted this hubcap. The windscreen also has turned into a puddle of melted goo. Just over here is the front door, or at least it was the front door of this house. And this is something that families all through this valley are having to contend with. At least 150 people here have lost their homes. Only a few precious items survived.
Just sadness, you know. It's been multiple years now where homes have been lost, and the fire we had last October in Redwood Valley, it's just a terrible loss.
I reckon you're spot on.
More than 100 Australians are providing much needed help. About 40 of them are here at the Mendocino fire.
We work closely with America and California, and you know we each take away the best of both continents to make sure that everybody's working in parallel almost.
Last night, as you heard, sounds like fire came down in a couple of spots on our division.
Beverly Gardner from Western Australia is running a big team here and provides a daily briefing at dawn. It's a long 16-hour day, and there'll be more ahead when she gets home.
Back home in Western Australia, we are sort of finding definitely that we are having quite a few fires, more than historically they have. Different season types as well.
Even when this fire is eventually out, here in California they don't expect to get much rest. The effects of climate change have forced them to a 12-month roster.
There's different staffing models that they're looking at. There's different response models they're looking at to accommodate, the all year round fire season. And it's literally like a moving target.
While they're still fighting the flames here in California, across the Atlantic, they're counting the cost of a brutal summer. Nowhere was that more extraordinary than in Sweden, where Europe correspondent Lisa Miller is. Forest fires even burned above the Arctic Circle.
That's right, Connor. As bad as those fires are in California, it's a state that has learned how to fight them. Here in Sweden, they were completely unprepared and under-resourced. And while they're hoping that the worst is behind them, they're wondering what next summer will bring. It's still summer in Sweden, but the cold rain has returned.
This is the typical Swedish summer weather.
Relief after a scorching few months.
There was this huge orange fire glow on the sky. I stopped the car maybe on about 200 meters away from where the fire was. But you feel the heat, you feel the smoke, it comes into the car. It looks devastating, it's scary.
Marco Hassold's holiday park is deserted after a horror month of fires. The first one started at the end of May, often sparked by lightning. At its worst, there were 80 burning. What makes this so incredible is that we are driving north to the Arctic Circle. They've had fires in this area before, but none have been as big as this one. In a country where the economy relies on the dense and valuable forests, this was alarming. Peter Arnevold is Greater Stockholm's fire chief.
We don't have the firefighting planes, the water bombing planes. We don't have the helicopters with the specific purposes for. We have a few, but we don't have enough because we're not used to these types of fires.
Europe sent help, countries united in their shock. The Arctic was burning, but they realise now they should have seen it coming. Have you seen it like this before?
Never. I've been a milk farmer many years, but never like this. It's some weeks, maybe 1 or 2 weeks it's hot, but now it's 13, 14 weeks.
It was a double whammy for Jan Hansen as Sweden's farmers battled through a devastating drought. The fires came so close, he had to deploy farm trucks and workers to fight them.
In this barn you can't see all the way. There was so much smoke.
The relentless summer heat was taking its toll.
The cows are not feeling good, it's too hot, so they produce maybe 20% less. And then in the fields, nothing is growing.
Most farmers are now using their winter feed stock, but winter is still months away.
We're not used to this. We're used to green grass, enough rain, not this heat. Maybe it's something we have to get used to in one time every 10 years or 15 years or something.
Swedes accept their climate is changing, but this summer has convinced them it's happening faster than they can handle.
18 of the 19 warmest summers happened the last 25 years.
Are you worried about what's ahead?
Well, we've been warned now of what can happen. The hill has started to get pretty steep, so we need to look at our way of handling these types of crises in a different way.
The snow is getting less, the summers are getting warmer and also drier, so there's absolutely some changing going on.
They might argue over why, but the trend is indisputable. The planet is heating up. The records have been broken this summer, and while it may be one to remember, it's likely to be surpassed. Lisa Miller, ABC News, Sweden.
Deputy Commissioner of the New South Wales Rural Fire Service, Rob Rogers, joins us now. Rob Rogers, we've seen what summer's been like in the Northern Hemisphere. What can we expect to see in the Southern Hemisphere this summer?
Well, I guess based on still being winter here and us having more than 80 fires and have had an enormous week with fires and not looking for any respite, it's not looking good. I mean, I guess on the back of 100% of the state being drought declared, that obviously adds to the complexity of firefighting. But if you add to it these strong winds, then warm temperatures and no rain, then we're in for a shocker.
Equipment such as water-bombing aircraft has traditionally been shared between the hemispheres, moving with the seasons. Is that arrangement now in doubt, given that fire seasons are getting longer?
Absolutely, that will be, they will become quite pressured. I mean, we even tried to advance earlier the first of our large air tankers that's due to hit us on 1st of September to try and get it here earlier just because of the number of fires we've got. But it's still actively engaged in the North American fire season. So, as you say, that's then not available. Now, if that continues, that those fire seasons start to overlap, then we're going to have a real problem with those sort of very expensive and very in-demand equipment during peak times.
Deputy Commissioner Rob Rogers, thanks so much.
Thank you.